If you watched my last video, you'll know that one of the best no-fee banks these days is Tangerine. This is where I personally choose to bank, so today I'm going to give you a deep dive into all things Tangerine. What they offer, whether it's good or not, in my opinion, and why you might want to choose it for your own money storage needs. Welcome to the Ready Set Life YouTube channel. My name is Brittany and I am a millennial financial coach who makes videos all about taking the fear out of finance. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoy this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos every single Thursday and you don't want to miss them. So let's get right into it. If you've clicked this video, you're probably interested in switching to Tangerine Bank. It's a pretty good choice. They've got low fees, high interest, and a lot of offerings that are on par with some of the best banks in Canada. But what sets them apart from the other great banks in the running? And how do you know if they're the right choice for you? First, let's talk about the fees. This is one of the top things that I look at when I'm evaluating a bank. I think it's ridiculous that banks charge for the privilege of holding our money. We might as well just keep it in a Ziploc bag under our mattress instead. With Tangerine, there are no account fees. They actually have a PDF on their website that lists all the fees with their fair fees disclosure on top of it. They say that their company stance on fees is that they should be fair, disclosed in advance, and balanced relative to the benefits that are received. I mean, legally they kind of have to disclose their fees, all the banks do, so maybe it's a marketing thing to present it in this way, but I'm a pretty optimistic person, and everything that I've seen about Tangerine leads me to believe that this is pretty genuine. It is super helpful that they're really clear about everything and actually has this conveniently provided in this one-page overview. I'm not going to read off all the fees that they have, that would take way too long, but I will leave a link to that fees PDF in the description down below. What I do want to highlight though is their e-transfer fees. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I personally use e-transfers a lot. I transfer money to my own accounts at other banks, and I also transfer to friends and family, because Venmo is not a thing here. With Tangerine, there are two types of these transactions. One is the Interact e-transfer, which is the normal email money to people in seconds type of transfer. And the other one is called web transfer or email money transfer. And this sends money pretty much the exact same way, except funds are delayed by 2 to 3 business days. So why would you ever choose to do a web transfer over an Interact one? Because Tangerine charges $1 for Interact e-transfers. And web transfers are free. The charge actually comes from Interact themselves. They charge Tangerine for the service, so Tangerine just puts it over to us. It's fair, and I do really like that they give us an option to avoid that fee. If you're pretty organized with your transfers, you can definitely make this work. Although I would like to point out that while researching for this video, I found out that Simply actually made their Interact e-transfers free as of 2017. So there is a way to do it. And Tangerine, if you're watching this, maybe you should look into providing something like that. The next thing I want to review is interest. As I mentioned in my last video, Tangerine is actually one of the banks with interest rates on the higher side. For their checking accounts, their interest rate starts at 0.15%, and for their savings accounts, it's 1.15%. Compared to the brick and mortar banks, this is pretty great, and compared to the other internet banks, it's pretty much on par, which is all that we can ask for. Again, they list their interest rates pretty clearly on their rates page, so I'm going to link that down below as well. Tangerine is a pretty full-service bank with a lot of different product offerings. This means that you could get just about any of your banking needs filled here. Investment accounts, mortgages, lines of credit, the whole shebang. But what I really want to highlight is their credit card. Tangerine has one of the best cashback rewards cards in Canada. That's right, I said it. With Tangerine, you actually get to choose your cashback categories. You get to pick 2 categories that you'll receive 2% cashback in. I've listed the possibilities on the screen, and then on everything else, you'll receive 0.5%. If you put your rewards towards paying your credit card balance, you get an extra 2% category as well. There's no limits or fees on this either, so you can actually earn as much cash back as you spend. I love that this card is so versatile. It's a great option if you're looking for a cashback card. Another thing that we want to look at is customer satisfaction. From what I can tell, Tangerine is pretty good to its customers. Personally, I've always had good experiences with them and heard that from within my social group as well. But more objectively, if we look at the general banking satisfaction in Canada, they seem to be doing that pretty well also. They've won the JD Power Survey for customer satisfaction 8 years in a row, both in terms of being top ranked in its category and also with being the highest overall score in customer satisfaction, assuming that the scale was the same, as TD comes in with a 789 in the big bank category and Tangerine with an 827 in the mid-size category. Something that I really care about when I'm reviewing things is the day-to-day usability. I love that Tangerine has, Tangerine calls them recipes, which I think is a totally weird way of phrasing it, but I'm gonna call them gimmicks, I guess. Basically just these cool little ways of treating your accounts. You can set up automatic rules for things, like sending a certain percentage of your paycheck into savings, or rounding up your purchases, or saving when your favorite sports team wins. I don't know, some of them are pretty weird and I wouldn't necessarily recommend all of them, but it's still a really cute idea. I like that Tangerine has actually built in things like this. You can tell that they've actually paid attention to what's going on in the fintech world because there are tons of apps popping up that do these exact things, meaning that there's obviously a market for these types of saving tools. Tangerine has just taken the opportunity to build it directly into their offerings. And that proves to me that, number one, they've got a sense of humor, and number two, that they're working to actually advance themselves and keep up with the times. Two things that are important to me in choosing a company. I also want to mention here that the banking app for Tangerine is also pretty great. I do most of my banking on my phone, so app usability is definitely a sticking point when it comes to choosing a bank. Not the top consideration, but it certainly helps when you can actually easily integrate day-to-day banking into your life, instead of it being a terrible chore. Alright, now let's talk sign-up bonuses. Again, not the top thing to consider because you want to be choosing your bank based on the long-term experience and not just the first 6 months. However, certainly something to think about because Tangerine has got some awesome beginner bonuses. When you sign up with them, you get 2.75% interest on your savings accounts for the first 6 months. You can also get a $50 referral bonus for you and a friend if you use their orange key. When I signed up to Tangerine, there were also additional perks, like $50 for depositing at least $100 and $150 for switching over my payroll deposits. These additional perks seem to ebb and flow depending on the time of year, but they do seem to open up these additions repeatedly. So just do some Googling and hopefully you'll get lucky with the timing. Overall, Tangerine is a pretty good choice. I mean, I personally bank here, so was it really a surprise that I like them? I think they've got some great offerings that cost you nothing, and with the additions of having good interest rates, unique saving strategies, and a great app interface, it seems like a no-brainer. The only thing that would make it really better is if they followed suit with Simply and offered free Interact transfers. Let me know in the comments down below, what is your opinion of Tangerine? Do you think you'll make the switch? And do you love or hate the little gimmicks that are offered these days? Remember to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. I usually make new videos every single Thursday, but if you are already subscribed to this channel, you might be wondering where I've been for the past little while. I don't have enough subs yet to get that fun little community tab where I can tell you all where I've been, so I'm so sorry if you've been waiting for a video. If you do want to know what's going on in my life, I always update you on Instagram, so please go follow me there. It's @_ReadySetLife. I share lots of little tidbits and money tips just like I do here, but in a somewhat smaller format. And on top of that, yes, I'm always on stories letting you know what I've been up to. Unfortunately, my grandmother passed away about 3 weeks ago, and she lived in Nova Scotia, so we had to fly back, and it was a whole thing that kind of halted basically all business-related activities for a while. So I've taken some time for myself and my family, but now I feel like things are becoming normal again. So I'm back in the game, and there should be a lot more consistent videos from here on out. Again, if I ever miss a day or you're not seeing me in your feed, go check out my Instagram, because I always give out an update on what's going on over there. Even if it's just that I've managed my time badly and I haven't finished the video yet. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and until next time, I'm wishing you great financial health. Bye! Actually made their Interact. But I will give a link to that PDF fees. That's not what I meant to say. Although, I would like to point out that by researching for this video, not by, just more sirens.